Hey world, this is Jamie, host of the Jamie and Genty Show, broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear sports talk from basketball to football and view your feedback on the biggest sports news you want to talk about from around the world. So be sure to log on each week Tuesdays at 12 p.m. to catch the Jamie and Genty Show. Hope to see you soon
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in.
Welcome to the Beyond the Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie. It's Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. How's everyone doing out there? Good? That's good. Now, the NFL playoffs happened over the weekend. I need to talk to y'all how it went because we didn't have some upsets. We had some disappointment from the Washington Commanders. But also, we need to talk about some maturity from two wide receivers that I don't care about. I don't have. Why should I care about these two wide receivers that I'm going to talk about here shortly? These guys are all about themselves and not about the game of football. They want to go out there and make a fool out of themselves. Basically drawing attention to them. Which to me, it shouldn't be the case. So I want to recap this. Actually, we're going to start off with this one. So let's start off with the Steelers and the Ravens. Now the Ravens overwhelmingly beat the Steelers 28-14 on Saturday. You talk about Russell Wilson. You talk about George Pickens. Actually, George Pickens could be a great player in this league. It's just the maturity factor from the time he got drafted to about what he talked about on this Saturday. And I never done this on this show before, but we're going to play a clip at this early time of George Pickens being asked a question about Russell Wilson. So let's hear from George Pickens' piece, that Steelers quarterback, that Steelers wide receiver.
Have you seen signs of growth, and how much more does this team still need to grow offensively?
Yeah, I've seen signs of growth for sure. From past, the first year I've been here, just way more growth for sure.
George, does that make you optimistic going forward?
Nah.
So you're asked a question about the growth of the offense. Is it about your growth or is it about Russ's growth? Because Russ hasn't won a Super Bowl. Mike Tomlin has a Super Bowl. So really, you're not needed on this football team, George. If you're gonna act like that in front of everyone, in front of millions out there that somehow support you, then you're not worth my time or someone else's time. But I need to go off on George a little bit. All season long, you have been nothing but a nutcase. Are you trying to be the next AB? We're talking about Antonio Brown. Are you talking about Chase Claypool? Look at how those two guys' career ended up. How does Mike Tomlin accept this behavior? Mike Tomlin has to be the most patient guy in all of American sports, because he dealt with Antonio Brown for the longest time until Antonio Brown crashed out. He dealt with Chase Claypool until he crashed out. Now George Pickens in his third into his upcoming fourth season, it hasn't shown the maturity. Your head coach Mike Tomlin has told you privately you need to grow up. Everybody in your circle has told you you need to grow up. We can't accept this behavior from you. Your behavior is the reason why you're not elite in the NFL. Your behavior is the other reason why you dropped 3 passes the week before this week. You're not that guy. You are not that guy, George. And I'll be damn sure Mike Tomlin will keep you on a short leash. Everybody in the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, has Mike Tomlin on a short leash due to his record in the playoff game. He's lost 6 straight games. He hasn't won since 2016. So everybody says we should fire him. Everybody says, you know what? Let's keep him around because it's the Pittsburgh way. I also heard a rumor this weekend that we should do a trade. Mike Tomlin comes to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys give up Mike McCartney. And I'm like, no, that's stupid. We need to stop being stupid online. Mike Tomlin's going to be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers for the longest time, until he can't deal with it anymore. You just signed him to the extension last year. Don't be that team that you sign a coach to the extension and he doesn't fulfill that obligation. Don't be like a Sacramento King or any other franchise that says, you know what, we're going to hire a coach and then we're going to give him a 5-year contract, and then into that second year, if everything goes down where the offense is not going on, the defense is keeping you in games, then we got to fire this coach due to public reception. People pay money for us. People pay a bunch of money to see the finishing product, and that product is not finished yet. Mike Tomlin is not done. Now, to me, does Mike Tomlin need to clean house? Yes. Every season, you know, when you go through a disappointing playoff showing, you have to look at yourself, but also look at what you can improve on the team. Is it the offense? Because, you know, I look at Pittsburgh's offense. I look at, you know, there's a lot of chances that George can take advantage of. But understand something. You're going into your 4th season, so that means you're going to be a veteran. You can't act this way. You can't act like this in press conferences. You got to take the mature route, because there's going to be some rookie out there busting your ass, coming after you, learning after you. And maybe he can take over the reins over George Pickens. Maybe. But it's just time to grow up. Mike Tomlin, I want him to stay there till whenever he decides to move on. And then Russ had an up and down season. No doubt in my mind, Russ is the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. No doubt. Najee Harris, he may be the odd man out when it comes to free agency, but I'm pretty sure the Steelers will work something out with him. It just depends on the type of carries he gets. Now Baltimore, Derrick Henry, who we lost out, and I would never live to this day that we lost out on that running back. Derrick Henry went 26 for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now Lamar, you put up that great performance in the first round. Is Lamar versus Josh Allen this coming Sunday in Buffalo? And it gets to the point where Lamar has to show more than he's worth right now. Because right now, right in his career right now, the only thing that's missing is the championship. It's not an easy path for him at this point in time, because again, you beat the Steelers, but also you're playing against Buffalo, a team that has scored over 30 points a game. Averaged 30 points a game. It was a high profane offense. and Josh Allen. Josh Allen has improved this game. Josh Allen could be the MVP one day, but not right now. So I like this match. I like the Lamar versus Josh Allen type of thing. We'll see what happens. Right now I have Buffalo winning, but then again, I'm not going to question Lamar Jackson's greatness. Somebody else will, but I'm not going to question his greatness moving forward because I already know he's great. Like it's gonna if it takes him into his 30s to get to the Super Bowl appearance or win a Super Bowl for that matter, then so be it. You signed him to a long extension. He has that time to get to the championship. It's not the end of the world. You're not looking for another quarterback. If he loses, you're not looking for another quarterback out there. Lamar is it. The organization has put more faith in Lamar than any other quarterback in that franchise. Number 2, A.J. Brown's book drama. Now, these wide receivers are something different in this stage of the game. When I was growing up, okay, my football knowledge, in the 2000s, we watched T.O. do his drama. We watched Chad Ochocinco Johnson did his drama. We watched Des Bryant did his crap. We also watch, who else? Who else is there? There might be somebody. Well, I already mentioned Antonio Brown. These wide receivers are built different. That, to me, they don't care about the game anymore. It's always about them. A.J. Brown picked up a book on the sideline and read it. And some people have a problem with it, some people don't. I have a problem with it. Now, I understand you're not going off your quarterback and trying to be a disturbance to the team. But having a book on the sideline, reading it, and not being tuned into the game. You had to read a book to be tuned into the game. The game has already started. The game has started. You're not focused. You're not focused enough. This is why I question our wide receivers in this generation, because our wide receivers in this generation are weak. They don't want to work. And you see why their production is down. You see why A.J. Brown, you get one catch for 10 yards on Sunday against Green Bay. And you complain that you're not getting the ball. But also, you say, you know what? I'm going to take a book and I'm going to channel my thoughts and not go after our franchise quarterback. Dude, why can't you just read that book before the game? Not bring it out. That's a distraction to me. That's a distraction to the process. We're trying to win a championship. And I have my wide receiver picking a legit book on the sideline instead of going to the quarterback and talking. How can I get more catches? What do I need to do on this route? But instead, it's about you. It's about you. These guys are weak. George Pickens is weak. A.J. Brown is weak. A.J. Brown has done nothing in the National Football League but complain. He's not a Hall of Famer. Hall of Famers shut their mouth and figure out why they're not getting the ball. T.O. figured it out. Chad Johnson did not. Yes, I'm going to call him Chad Johnson to this day. I don't care about that Ocho Cinco nonsense. But it has to come to a time, to the point where the game where these wide receivers have to take ownership. You are a big body, AJ. You can box on anybody you want, but yet it's like you refuse to do the heavy work. You complain that you're not getting the ball, but instead you're like, okay, I'm going to read a book and figure out a way to lock in. Did you not lock in when the game started? When the ball kicked off at 3:30 Central Time, 4:30 their time? Did you not lock in then? Why can't you just take a piece of paper and write down your main thoughts? You have it written down, so take it out of your pocket and say, you know what? I need to figure out a word to make sure that I don't go off my franchise quarterback, instead of bringing up a whole book on the sidelines. Now, the book is called Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy. That's the book. I have to go look that up because I don't know. I'm curious now. But I'm also curious about which wide receiver, outside of Justin Jefferson, outside of Jamar Chase, outside of CeeDee Lamb, who rebounded this season, because I went after him as well. I'm trying to figure out what wide receiver in this generation I'm excited to see. Maybe in this division alone, the NFC East. When I turn on TV, I think I'm more excited to see CeeDee Lamb. Even though CeeDee Lamb has his issues, I'm more excited to see CeeDee Lamb. I'm also excited to see Terry McLaurin, because Terry McLaurin does not complain. Terry McLaurin takes a professional route. Oh, I'm not getting the ball. He's dealt with a lot of issues. How many quarterbacks do you have to go through to get it right? And the guy to right was JD5. And so I'm not excited to see AJ Brown at all. If I'm his teammate, I'll challenge him. But we don't have those guys that challenge each other anymore. It's always like the media wants to say, hey, they're fighting each other. That's not how a team works. Well, they're not fighting each other. They're challenging each other to be great. They challenge each other to get to the next round. Because if you get to because happened, if Green Bay would have won that game, then everybody in Philly, the house would be burning. Everybody in Philly will question Jalen Hurts. They'll question Nick Sirianni. They'll go after AJ Brown. They'll go after everybody. Because they say, this is our year. We won 13 games. We have a running back that got 2,000 yards. Just imagine if Saquon did not get 1,000 yards. I don't know if he'll be complaining as well. But then again, the offense is not around A.J. Brown. The offense is collective. The offense is around Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts makes the calls, and if it's a run play, they run it. If it's a passing play, you run your routes to the best of your ability. Why can't you? It's simple. Don't make the game so hard. Don't bring attention to yourself. Because you bring attention to yourself, then you are not locked in. You are not the best teammate I ever seen. You're not. And I question your heart. But now they play the Rams. So we'll see what happens. Number 3, the Commanders' luck keeps going. Now the Commanders, they beat the Buccaneers 20-20. Jalen Daniels went 24 for 35 for 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also carried the ball 13 times for 36 yards. Zane Gonzalez had a game-winning field goal. Let's see what else. Washington's confidence is unreal. I never seen a team that's been so resilient in my life. I never seen a team that's gone through all that nonsense in the beginning in the front office and finally got it right. There's a difference between ownership and having control in ownership, which Jerry is controlled. Jerry has full control and ownership. He doesn't come to anybody to make all the decisions. The one decision he makes is Jerry. But if in Washington, there's a whole bunch of people that make decisions, and the reason why they win their playoff game since 2020. And they hit on JD. JD's turning into a franchise quarterback before our eyes. He might be the best one out of the quarterbacks that I mentioned to the superfan Angelo. I mentioned to Angelo. I mentioned RG3, Kirk Cousins, Sam Howell. He also mentioned Colt McCoy too. Those of years of the past from 2012 to about 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022-ish, those were the quarterbacks for the Washington Commanders / Redskins. And now you come to 2024, you hit it high in the draft pick. Now JD has a chance to upset Detroit, which that's not going to happen because you can't tell me that Detroit goes 15-2 and has all those trick players on offense, will have a surging Commanders team come into your house and beat you. That could happen, but I'm not expecting it to happen because I'm expecting Detroit to take care of business. I expected Detroit to be physical on that side of the ball. Angelo, a superfan, forgets that Detroit is in the top 10 defensively despite losing 4 players on defense. But yet he's jumping in circles saying, hey, we got Detroit. What makes you think you got Detroit? Is it because of JD? Is it because of the run game? Is it because Terry McLaurin can run a great route? Dude, it's gonna be tough. You gotta accept the results. You guys will get beaten. It's okay. It's okay. You had a great season. Now, as far as the NFC East, you're not gonna win the NFC East. The NFC East runs through the Cowboys and the Eagles still, in my eyes. But I might have to regress a little bit because the Cowboys are looking for a new coach. Now we're in rebuild. And so now it's more the Eagles and the Commanders, which the Eagles will always have the upper hand. The Commanders will be so-and-so. This is their luck. And this is their only season that they'll get past the divisional round. So make it happen. He came in here 20 minutes ago and said, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. Dude, no. You have to go through steps. You have to go through divisional. You have to go through the conference championship game and the Super Bowl. You got to win it. You can't say we're going to beat Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes has leverage over every quarterback in the league, in the National Football League. Pat Mahomes will never lose. He will never lose. Saying that, oh, we're going to upset Detroit. Okay, keep that same energy because when I see you next Tuesday, it was a great season. After all that talk, come on now. After all that talk, you're talking about the Super Bowl. Don't get ahead of yourself. Take one game at a time. You're in the divisional round. You beat Detroit, cool. NFC Championship game. Where are you going to play at? Is it going to be in Philly? Is it going to be in LA? Wherever. Where are you going to play at? That's the question for 10 o'clock Central Time when you win. Supposedly. Because I'm not choosing you to win. Detroit's going to win. And Detroit runs the ball. Detroit throws the ball. Amari St. Brown is tough to stop. Their defense, I still consider Detroit as one of the best defenses I ever seen this whole entire season. You know, having to have players go down, and then having to get players off trades, and that's exciting to me, because when Aiden Hutchinson went down, they went and got Zadarius Smith from Cleveland, and it's like, man, this team is consistent. This team knows where they want to go and where they're supposed to be. So that's why I trust Detroit versus anybody else in the NFC. Number 4, the Rams' emotional night. The Rams beat the Vikings 27-9, and I want to send my well wishes to the people in LA that have lost their homes, and that and I can't pronounce that area, but I just want to wish them well. I know they had to move this game from LA to Arizona, which the NFL did a great job playing this game outside of LA, giving people a chance to support their team, giving them a chance to see football for the first time. I know that in basketball, the Spurs were in there. They canceled the Hornets game on Thursday, and also the Lakers Hornets game. The Clippers, they also canceled the Spurs and Lakers game on Saturday. But the Spurs and Lakers did play last night, which the Spurs beat the Lakers by 20+ points. Again, it was great seeing basketball back in LA. I don't know about the rescheduled dates. I'm hoping that the NBA does the right thing, reschedule these games. Reschedule when the Spurs have more than 2 days off. Just add another game for the Spurs, because the Spurs, I want to see. I mean, even though it was a great win last night, I love the fact that we were defensively. This has been the best on-ball defense I've seen since 2016, or I'll go a step further, 2014 Spurs. I'm not comparing to that team. I'm not saying we're a championship team, but I like the direction we're going as a Spurs fan. Makes me so happy that the Spurs are winning games on the defensive end. So, back to football. Now, I love the fact that the Arizona Cardinals were able to open their facilities to have that game played. So, a win-win for everyone. Now the Rams, Matt Stafford, who I like him, 25 for 40 for 245 yards, a touchdown and interception. No, that's Sam Darnold. My bad. That's Sam Darnold. Justin Jefferson had 5 receptions for 58 yards. I'm not questioning Sam Darnold's effort, willingness to win. I love the fact that Sam gets a chance to start in the National Football League, because when he was on the Jets, it was just a nightmarish season. They blamed him for everything. Then he goes to Carolina. They blame him. Then he's a backup for the 49ers. We will never see him before. I thought his career would die. But he goes to Minnesota and puts up a great, fabulous season. And you have no worries if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan when Sam Darnold is your quarterback. Sam Darnold made some plays. Now, I can easily say Minnesota can be in that championship conversation, but also it comes down to re-signing Sam Darnold as your quarterback. I don't trust Daniel Jones or J.J. McCarthy for that matter, but Sam Darnold is your quarterback moving forward. I'm sorry. But Matthew Stafford went 19 for 27, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Rams had 9 sacks. So Minnesota couldn't block all night. The Rams went ahead. The Rams went ahead and went home, and they had 9 sacks as a team. So how do you stop that? Now the Rams, they're going to take that defense to go to Philly on. I think that is on Sunday. Yeah, that's on Sunday. That's the first game on Sunday, for that matter. So Philly's got to protect this game. They got to protect this game. They got to protect Jalen Hurts. AJ Brown, you got to have a masterful performance. If that were to happen, if you put 2 and 2 together, if Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown have a massive performance, then you could easily say that their relationship is repaired. You can also say that the Eagles are legitimate contenders in the NFC. So I'm not necessarily picking the Rams to beat the Eagles. I hate the Eagles, even though I love to see them lose. But I have to choose the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a little bit better. I think it's going to be a low scoring output. Even though the Commanders fan himself, Angelo, said he wants to play the Rams, and I'm like, Angelo, you could have played for the Eagles. Why not the Eagles? The Eagles are tougher than the Rams, actually. Yeah, they are. They're a little bit tougher than the Rams. So if I were him, I would want the best, and I would want Philly. And that's it for the NFL playoffs. Number 5, other NFL headlines. Now, for the first time in all the off seasons, the Cowboys did not dominate the weekend. The Cowboys waited till Monday to make a decision yesterday to make a decision on Mike McCartney, which today his contract expired. So Mike McCartney is a free agent in the National Football League. But also, my favorite coach that I want for this Dallas Cowboys, Mike Vrabel, took a job in New England. I can't get mad at them for that. But I'm also mad that they gave Gerard Mayo 1 season to figure this out. They didn't give him enough. And that's why I keep saying, every time we take a job, whether it's in the NFL, whether it's in the NBA, whether it's in the WNBA or in college football, college basketball, we always have a target on our back. As Black Americans, we have a target on our back. We don't get it right this first season, you better hope on a miracle that we get that second or third season. They set him up to fail. But I can go more on that in detail. But Mike McCarthy's not coming back. What happened? Mike's offense couldn't get going. We averaged 18 points a game, if I'm saying that right. Dak Prescott wasn't able to read the playbook. I question Dak's willingness to make plays. And I'm saying to myself, Dak's in year 8. Dak is about to be in year 9. Would it be best for him to change the play call? You know what the defense is doing. And the defense, you could have changed it. You could have opted out of it and told Mike, say, hey, Mike, I had to opt out to a run play because they were attacking the pass. I didn't trust our wide receivers to run routes. It was a whole thing. I think Jerry waited. And again, Jerry's going to do the same thing. He's going to be everything. I don't think we'll have a head coach up until the draft. I think we'll wait till the draft to have a head coach. But I'll be surprised if we get one between now and the end of February. And that's a long-ass time. But I just don't know. I think we're in rebuild mode. I can't consider us as the favorites in the NFC East unless we have a magical season like the Commanders did. But it doesn't look great for our future because our future says, you know, we gotta have a coach, but also Jerry doesn't want to change. Jerry does not want to be hands off. He never wants to be hands off. And also the interviews that 105.3 The Fan does for Jerry and Steven during the season is annoying. Because you guys asked him about football questions, which those football questions should be going to the head coach, but also to the players as well that they bring on. So why in the world are I don't want to hear from Steven or Jerry during the week because no other team does this. No other team does this. I never seen this type of effort, this type of ownership before. Usually owners, like I've been mentioning, owners come in during the draft to talk about their team. But also if they're going to make a head coaching change, then that's when they get on the radio and talk and speak. Not this guy. So now Jerry and Coach Prime have been in contact, mutual interest according to Adam Schefter. So Coach Prime said, I love Boulder. I love, the community. I love the players. I love our team. Now, Coach Prime said that yesterday. But also, I watched like a 15, 20 minute second clip where Coach Prime was talking to the players on the team. This was without Shiloh, Shador, and Travis Hunter for the first time ever. And I was thinking to myself, why would Coach Prime entertain that? You already said that you weren't going to take an NFL job. But you're in the meeting with players thinking that you're going to stay at Colorado. There's no way in my mind that this is going to happen. Coach Prime is not going to take this Cowboys job. It's just too much. It's too much to handle. You have to bring your whole staff, and then you got to listen to the full Jerry make stupid decisions. It's tough to hear that. It's tough to hear that they have a mutual interest. I'm thinking this is not the right coach. Coach Prime has to stay in Colorado. You have it great there. Everything you have is there. Plus more. You got two great quarterbacks. The transfer portal has been great to y'all. Y'all dominated the transfer portal because you got everybody's best. The quarterback from Allen, I think, Slater. You got him from Liberty. He was about to be an afterthought, but I see him as a starter for this Colorado Buffs team. He may not be better than Shador, but I think I like his game. If I'm Coach Prime, I can't get that up. I want to see this. I want to see Coach Prime coach this team, coach the Colorado Buffs in 2025. It'll be a magical. It'll be. What would I say? It will be unfortunate. Not unfortunate. It will be surprising if I see that Coach Prime is going to take this job because this job is not really attractive enough. Now, you say who the candidates are. He's also the candidate, but many people want Ben Johnson, and I don't want Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson works elsewhere. I think Ben Johnson works in Jacksonville. I doubt Belichick will work well in Jacksonville, but also I will say that Ben Johnson works well in Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville, having a young quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, he can only get better with time. And I think the offense they will run. If Ben Johnson takes that job, if he does get an interview in Jacksonville, it's going to provide wonders. I think they'll be better than Houston. If Jacksonville decides to hire Ben Johnson as the next head coach. But I don't see it for this team. And now this team, the job is not really attractive enough. The job's going to be hard to take. It's like taking candy from a baby. It's hard. It's hard. What other candidates are out there? You can easily say Brian Flores. You can also say Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is going to be a coach in this league, believe it or not. I don't know where, but he's going to be. Not for the Dallas Cowboys. Jason Witten, from high school to the NFL. I mean, I see weirder things. I've seen that Mike Vick takes a job at Norfolk State. It's not weird to me. I see Deshaun Jackson, that's weird to me. Because I see Deshaun Jackson take the Delaware State job, even though he has no business having that job. But but it's weird. But I wish him well. But Jason Witten, we'll see. I mean, I think you have to be loyal to Jerry and have thick skin that you're going to coach the football team and we're going to win championships. Because we're going into year 30 without one. That has to be the motto when in these interviews. Are you going to have thick skin? When it comes to Jerry, are you going to be able to have thick skin but also have a relationship with Jerry and Steven? Don't be an asshole. Say yes, yes. Don't be an ass and say I'm going to let Jerry do his thing. I'm going to let Steven do his thing. So again, this job is not great. This job is the worst job I ever seen in my entire life. This job is not that great. It's going to take, like I said, I would not be surprised if we go every day talking about this coach is going to work here, that coach is going to work here. Dude, it'll be the annoyingest thing ever. Like, stop it. We won't have a coach until March. Now, I'll be surprised if it's earlier, but we won't have a coach till March. And that's okay. That's okay. because we know what this franchise is all about. This franchise does not care about a championship. Period. Now, this upcoming weekend, we don't need to hear anything from the Cowboys. Okay? The only thing we need to hear is how Josh Allen beat Lamar Jackson. How Washington beat Detroit, even though I would say Detroit beats Washington. We need to say, how can the Eagles manage their relationship? That's all I need to hear. Maybe there'll be a next head coaching hiring. Maybe so. We'll see. But for now, this is where we're at with the Cowboys. The drama never ends. Now let's talk about some college football. Penn State and Notre Dame. Notre Dame beats Penn State 27-24. The main thing that happened in this game was that Notre Dame was able to get to Allard. They made Allard as a QB. They kept grinding, and also the game plan was executed. Marcus Freeman is a great head coach. He's just fabulous in what he says. And now let's play a clip. This is from ESPN. Of course, ESPN is going to ask this stupid. Well, not stupid. Well, let me use my words wisely. They're going to ask this awkward question, like every question us Black Americans get when we accomplish something great. So let's play that clip, please, from the ESPN.
Because you are the first black head coach to go to a national championship game in college football. Just hearing that response alone, how much does this mean to you?
You know, I've said this before. I don't ever want to take attention away from the team. It is an honor, and I hope all coaches, minorities, black, Asian, white, it doesn't matter. Great people continue to get opportunities to lead young men like this. But this ain't about me. This is about us. And we're going to celebrate what we've done because it's something special.
So, you heard from Marcus Freeman. Dude, if this not give you chills, my gosh. I'm glad he was able to throw in that question. Because ESPN does not celebrate greatness. ESPN, if that was Kirby Smart, you don't ask Kirby Smart that question. If it was Sark, you don't ask Sark that question. If it was Nick Saban, you don't ask him that question. You're gonna ask him a question about the game. Oh, how did your team execute this play against Georgia? Well, how did you beat Notre Dame? Those are the questions you ESPN will ask to coaches like Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, and other non-black coaches. They will ask that question. But then again, are we surprised that this question will always be asked in years' time? It will never end. It will never end. But I love how Marcus Freeman just thrown that question to the reporter. I can't remember the reporter's name, but it doesn't even matter. But we should all have chances to coach at Power 5 school. Marcus Freeman did that. He's done that. And now, Marcus Freeman, according to sources, I don't know, again, this is Instagram sources. Y'all should separate the ESPN sources and excuse me, the ESPN sources and the Instagram sources, because the Instagram sources are saying, and these are random people off of Instagram, are saying that Marcus Freeman should be considered for the Chicago Bears job. And I'm like, no, he's not ready for the NFL yet. He's not ready to put his family in that grind yet. Because you got to remember, the NFL is a different animal than Notre Dame is. I think, I'm going to say this about Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman has 5 years left. Marcus Freeman can bring a championship now, and he can probably bring another championship next season or the next season. But I think he has 5 years of college football left. He's young. He's like 38 years old. And when he gets to the NFL, he'll be young, the youngest coach I ever seen. So I don't think he's ready. I think Notre Dame needs him more than the Chicago Bears or any other team needs him, for that matter. His mindset has to be ready for the NFL. People don't talk about that. His mindset has to be ready NFL-wise. Your offense and preparation looks NFL ready, but your mind has to. Oh, that's good. I like that. Your mind has to be ready. Is he ready to take his family through that gauntlet of a schedule of an NFL grind versus the college grind? It's tough. It's not easy. But Marcus has to be ready for that. And he's not ready yet. It's okay. It's okay that he's not ready to coach the NFL. Notre Dame fans and students, they want him. They want him to stay. And he's going to, and again, I'm not making decisions for Marcus Freeman. I'm just predicting that he will stay in South Bend for 5 more years. Number 2, Ohio State versus Texas. Now this game got me going. The foolishness that Steve Sarkisian did on Friday night, the foolishness that Quinn Ayers did on Friday night, I have to question myself as a fan of Steve Sarkisian. I love the way he was able to fight back despite the low ends that he was going through. But also, Steve Sarkisian is also considered, according to Instagram sources, the Cowboys head coaching job, which you laugh, but it's true. That's Instagram sources. I don't know about ESPN sources. It's Instagram sources. So, in this game, Texas did lose 28-14. Now, I need to play a clip from Steve Sarkisian. Let's play a clip from Steve Sarkisian. He's talking, and I want to play a clip for him. Let's play that clip, please.
When we got down to the one,
yeah, that's it.
And we obviously didn't get much movement at all. And we had a plan to try to get the ball on the edge when we got down there. They went to big people. I can't quite tell. It was on the far side of where it got leaky. But that, it's one of those plays. If you block it all right, you get in the end zone, and we didn't, and we lose, quite a bit of yardage. And at that point, you're kind of stuck behind the 8 ball because we knew we were in 4-down territory because of the score of the game. And I was okay even if we didn't score, not that I didn't want to score, but thinking, all right, they're going to have to be backed up, and we'll probably get one more possession with good field position. The last thing you think is that, the sack, and this is going to bounce right to the guy who's going to run for a touchdown. So it's unfortunate that was the circumstances, because it was a really nice drive by the offense to get all the way down there, and first and goal on the 1, and we don't score. You quite frankly, you probably don't.
Okay, Steve, hold on, Steve. We didn't have a chat here, bro. You got to the 1-yard line. You drew 2 penalties. First down, you ran it. Okay? Didn't go through didn't even make it. Second down, Second down, you ran a jet sweep. The running back was able to knock off 2 defenders, but also he had help on the back end. So that you lose 6 yards. Third down, you throw a pass. Okay? Fourth down, this happened. Jack Sawyer.
For yours. Pressure comes. Sawyer knocked it out and picks it up. Jack Sawyer headed down the sidelines. Ohio State scoop and score. And dagger from 82 yards.
So, that ruined my night. That literally ruined my night. That ruined everything that I wanted to say about say good things about the Longhorns. And I said it to myself. Say good things about the Longhorns season. I can't find those words. This game had the Longhorns all over it. If you would have scored at the 1-yard line that you drew 2 penalties in, 1-yard line you had 2 penalties. You drew them both. Why not run in the middle? But instead, you ran a jet sweep. The 2 yards, you lose 1 yard, okay. But you get to the 2-yard line, you run a jet sweep, you lose 6 yards. What type of play calling are you calling, Steve? Steve, please. What are you calling? And then, it's like, nonchalant. We didn't execute there. Steve, this is a championship game. To get to the next round, to get to the national championship game, you realize you can put Texas on the map if you win a championship. And I picked y'all. I picked y'all to win the whole thing. Your play calling was questionable. You can't take ownership in that. You couldn't take ownership in that press conference. And now you're at home. You had an opportunity to close this game away. To put this game away. And you failed. You failed because you failed to pay attention to the details. You failed to make the game easy. At the 2-yard line, you run in the middle. Or better yet, you throw a simple play-action pass. You put Quinn Ewers on the move. And by the way, I'm going to go off him in a second. But Steve, this is not winning football. You had a chance to get to score, tie the game up, and then with 2 minutes left, the defense was rested. The defense has already rested. The defense did a phenomenal job. Even though they gave up 21 points, it was tough. They made Ohio State work. You take the big play in the first half. You take the big play that led it to halftime for Travion Henderson, that 75-yard run. You take that away, Texas wins the game. Texas wins the game, and then you don't have to be in that situation. Now, you put that self in your situation. Now you're at home. And players on that team are wondering, dude, we could have won the game. Our coach did not put us in the best positions to win. Now, Steve's not worthless. He made a mistake, a big mistake. A mistake that you can't get out of. Now, as a coach, when you get in this round, it's tough to get back. Nick Saban did it numerous times because Nick Saban knew his team. He knew his team. He knew who was going to be. This was before the transfer portal happened. This is before the NIL happened. Nick Saban knew who was coming back. That's how Nick Saban was able to be in position. Kirby Smart knew who was coming back. Now, in the transition of the NIL and transfer portal, now you got to deal with a full set of other players. You got to deal with a full set of players again. And so, it's tough. It hurts. I'm not going to be on the positive side of Texas. Oh, well, Texas failed to make a mistake. I'm not going to be that because I know as a former college athlete, and I know how the NIL, the transfer portal dominates. I know how the NFL and the transfer portal dominates the headlines. I don't have that same respect for this team anymore. Not anymore, but this season. I don't have that same respect. So in order to have that respect again, I got to be able to know who my team is. Now, Quinn, but Steve Sarkisian, if he goes to the NFL, so be it. Do I think he deserves an NFL? I mean, I think every college coach, if he wants to go to the NFL, then that's fine. I'm not going to question your cariness for the team. You have a chance to make it well in the NFL. You have a chance to redeem yourself. At one time you were the Atlanta Falcons head coach. At one time, you failed because the NFL was too much. Now you're in Texas for a while. Now you get to this stage. You win the Big 12. You don't necessarily dominate the SEC. You could have won the SEC championship. That goes to Georgia, but you're there. You're right there. You're close. You're within close range. And so, to me, not all hope is lost for Texas, unless Steve makes a 180 and says, "You know what? I'm going to stay in Texas. We have it right here. We have a quarterback that's on the rise. That could be better than Quinn Ewers, by the way." Now, Quinn, you're going to the NFL. You opted for the draft. Quinn did some good things in this game, but I have to question his leadership. He was not a leader in this game. It seemed like he went back to South Lake Quinn Ewers. That's where he's from. He looked in high school because it's like when you get, I understand you're nervous and I get it, but Quinn, you had a chance to upgrade your draft stock. You didn't. You failed. You could have opted for a play action pass. You could have ran. You could have scrambled, but you didn't. You didn't even use your legs a lot. When Ohio State was blitzing 4 or 5 guys, you didn't use your legs to step up in the pocket. And that's where the sacks, that's why you were in 2nd and 16 or 3rd and 15 for that matter, basically in the first half into the third quarter. This is not winning football. You can't get into this round and be nervous. And you have to calm the nerves and just play your game. Now you get to do it in the NFL. And let's see what happens. But Quinn, this is dude, you're going to look back at this and say, you know what? We won the Big 12 in 2023. We could have got the SEC. We definitely could have gotten the national championship. The national championship is better than winning your actual conference. It's better. You get more recognition. And now the recognition is so small that, the recognition is so small that nobody will know if Texas is ever going to be back. If Texas is ever going to win a championship at any point in time. So it's hard. It sucks, but it's hard. Now let's hear. Now before we get to my matchup against my preview of the national championship game, let's hear from Jadair Barrett. He took it a step further and not focused it on the game, but it was on focus on other stuff that's going on in outside of the football arena. I mean, many people will say just focus on football, but yeah, it's like you got a lot of stuff going on outside of that, and I want to hear his message. I want to preach his message. I want to talk about his message, and we're gonna come back and dive into it. So let's play Jadair Barrett, please.
Thank you for coming.
Alrighty, y'all. Thank you.
I just want to say one thing. I mean, it's been amazing, just the opportunity. But at the end of the day, like I just want everybody to know, like usually sometimes you always don't come out on top. But like we won. We truly know who our leader is, and that's God and Jesus Christ, and ultimately just having the ability to use the gift that He gave us to share it to the world. I mean, it's been amazing, and obviously amazing for me just growing up in Austin and having the opportunity. But everybody's not blessed to do the things we do, to be here. People dealing with fires and chaos in New Orleans. So just to have the opportunity to glorify God on the football field, it's truly been an honor. So I appreciate everybody.
All right.
Hey, thank you so much.
Jadair Barrett, that's a great message. That's a great message to end your season on. It's just you just appreciate the things in life, and I think the people that are blessed pray. They go to church, but also they pray. They pray for many of their blessings to come true. So I think that's the main message for what he's trying to say. All right, so number 3, the College Football National Championship game will be played on Sunday on MLK Day. No, not Sunday, sorry. Next Monday, MLK Day. Here are the keys that I wrote down for Notre Dame, For Notre Dame. Riley Leonard has to be exceptional. Jeremiah Love has to run with power. I know Ohio State's has big defensive tackle guys. You got to keep Howard in the pocket. This is Will Howard, the quarterback for Ohio State. You got to be physical with Jeremiah Smith, which Texas did. Texas held him to 1 catch for 3 yards. Texas did his job on the cornerback side. Ryan Day has a chip on his shoulder to not walk on eggshells. So Ryan Day, they've been calling for his head all season long. Ever since that Michigan loss, they've been calling for his head. And now you beat Oregon, and also you beat Texas. And so now, if you lose in not just championship game, it's now all world is lost. The AD has your back for 2025. But, if you lose, then you lose. But yet, if you get fired in 2025, that's going to come back. That's going to be one of the things that will come back to haunt him. The journey its perfection starts here. I already told you that Marcus Freeman should be deserved to coach in the NFL one day. One day. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's definitely not going to be next week. But one day, his mindset has to be ready, like I said. Ohio State. Will Howard must be great. Will Howard has to be great. Travion Henderson has to be smart. Jack Sawyer will be the target Notre Dame tries to block. Jack Sawyer is the hardest soul of Ohio State. Offensive line must protect a minimum of 10 plays. Notre Dame has an exceptional pass rush, kind of like Ohio State, but Notre Dame is quicker than Ohio State is. No penalties. So Ohio State will kill themselves with penalties. If Ohio State averages more than 6 penalties in this game, it will tell you that Notre Dame can take advantage of that. A win will silence all Ryan Day doubters. A win puts Howard in the draft conversation because I don't think he's there right yet. Also, a win keeps the AD happy. It also keeps Kurt Herbstreit happy because Kurt has a relationship with Ryan Day, even whether you believe it or not. And this happened over the break. So this clip was from, I think this clip was like 3 weeks old. It's 3 weeks ago when we were not here. So Kurt Herbstreit went after ESPN's Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith. And Shannon Sharpe defended First Take from Kurt Herbstreit's comments. So let's hear what Kurt said and then Shannon's response, please.
First Take tried to fire him. They thought he was done. So I'll be excited to see what they talk about on Monday after this performance.
Kurt, Chris Fowler, I promise you, if you ever mention anything, any platform that I'm on again and talking about, I wonder what they're going to say in negativity, I promise you, ESPN ain't got enough bosses to keep me off y'all for what I'm going to say.
So anyways, I always agree with Shannon and Shannon Sharpe, Shannon and Stephen A. Kurt, you called them pundits. Chris Fowler, you called them pundits. Even though I have the utmost respect for Kurt and Chris Fowler, I think they do a phenomenal job during college football. I would have gone on and said, I would have said Mark Jones. I would definitely said Mark Jones. But I love Kurt Fowler and Kurt Herbstreit, and I think there has to be a line drawn. There has to be a line drawn when you call people, you call your teammates pundits. I disagree the fact that I disagree with the fact that First Take was trying to get Ryan Day fired. Ryan Day got himself fired by not beating Michigan. If you can't beat Michigan in 5 tries, what makes you think you should deserve to be an Ohio State? What makes you think you should be the Ohio State head coach? What makes you think that? And Kurt went on Pat McAfee and talked about his personal relationship with Ryan Day because it's all personal. Kurt, it was all personal. It's all personal for Ryan Day and Kurt Herbstreit. Kurt wanted his son to go to Ohio State, but Kurt was shocked that he went to Michigan instead, Ohio State. Now, I don't know. I'm not a father. Kurt was probably upset. Kurt was upset because I have my son who can play who can play quarterback in a better system than Michigan because of the relationship with Ryan Day. It's okay, man. It's okay. It's all right. But Kurt, if you lose, which I'm not choosing Ohio State to win this game, I'm choosing Notre Dame to win this game. I want to see Marcus Freeman win this game, not only because of us, because of his preparations to details. Ryan Day is going to be there, but Kurt, I want you to be better with your words, and also Chris Fowler too. You guys are the two main reasons why we watch college football on Saturdays, because of your energy and effort. You talk about Kurt Herbstreit going from Amazon Prime on Thursdays to college football on Saturdays. That's a tough transition. And so now I want to see how this game plays out. And we'll definitely recap this game next week. But for now, let's talk about some basketball. Coming up next, let's talk about North Texas at TCU. And then let's talk about South Carolina women's head-to schedule. And I have a message for Zion. So let's talk about that next. It's Beyond the Game on Fishbowl Radio.
Welcome back to the Beyond the Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie. So, basketball. I'm always talking about the Mean Green. So, let's talk about the Mean Green women's. They had an interesting week. So, number one, they lost to 10th Tulane 65-62. Jacqueline Bourne had 23 points and 9 rebounds. They had 18 turnovers, guys. The women's team had 18 turnovers. They were down by 18 points the first 3 quarters, but they rallied to lead by 5 with 5 minutes left to go, but they lost. They got 3 points on their bench. No, I'm sorry, 3 points on the bench. This is from Jalen Talley. Now, Jalen Talley is not a high recruit player. She's just a player that I want to invest in because this game, she had a bad game. I'm not trying to disrespect her. I'm not trying to call her out. But she's a freshman. Okay? A transfer from Stinson. Junior. Trying to find a role on the team and all that stuff. The depth for North Texas bigs are going to be big in this conference play. And with Tally, I'm not seeing enough flavor from her. I'm not seeing enough passion. She misses down low 9 times out of 10 all the time. And I'm like, first of all, you're undersized. Second of all, you're rushing the play. Now you have to increase the minutes of Lampkin and Anaya Johnson. So basically, Jason Burton has to play them both 28 plus minutes, which Lampkin will probably get at least 35 at some point. But I don't know how can we keep this going if Jalen Talley is not producing. Now, I'm not saying that, she has to score 10 points a game off the bench. No. There's the intangibles. You have to do your job. You have to take charges. You have to grab rebounds. But also, when you're down there against all odds, you have to finish. In North Texas, I noticed a difference. I noticed that they're not taking care of business. I'm going to explain that in a second. But they beat South Florida 72-65. Again, North Texas was up by 21 points. And then South Florida made it interesting in the fourth quarter. They actually cut it down to 6. Tamisha Lemke had 29 points and 8 rebounds. They had 19 turnovers, North Texas did, but they had 8 of them in the fourth quarter. They held South Florida to 35% shooting. Now, if South Florida shoots 7% better, South Florida wins that game. And then Avina Hardaway fouled out. Was 5 minutes left, so there's weaknesses on the North Texas women's team. They don't have a point guard, and also when Lampkin goes out, everything on the offense end changes, which is why I'm thinking Lampkin can play 28 minutes more. 28 minutes. Now you got fouls. You don't have the big person. They're lacking depth at that position. So it's going to be really tough moving forward. But I'm going to explain this. I seen a big change in North Texas women's basketball team. I seen a big change in this last season. They were blowing everybody out in conference play. They blew out Memphis. They blew out Temple. They blew out UAB. Well, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But no, they gave up the lead against UAB last season. They started blowing out teams, but I'm not seeing that this year.
Maybe the competition has gotten a little bit better. You can easily say that. But also on North Texas, and they're not being, again, not having a backup point guard proves the difference why the turnovers are happening in the fourth quarter. Not having a solidified center / power forward is the reason why Lampkin and who else? Lampkin and Nia Johnson has to play more minutes than they should. But putting Desiree Woodson off the ball, I mean, it's a good choice, but you don't have a point guard. So if Marina Hardaway goes out of the game, you have to move either more or what's her name, Woodson, to the point guard position so that you can have more leadership and also have more handles. So I'm a little nervous. I'm not saying North Texas is out of it. What I'm saying is they have to figure out a way to make everything connect. Right now, it's not connecting. They're winning games by luck. They beat Memphis by luck, even though Memphis had the upper hand. South Florida, like I said, if they would have shot 7% better, they win the game. Who else? Let's see. Who else in the conference play that I can go off of? I can easily say Tulane could have been a little bit better, but also they got to figure it out. North Texas has to fix it. Right now, a gauntlet of a schedule this week will prove me otherwise. Now, this is a good conference. North Texas should be dominating this conference, but they're not. It's early. I'm going to give them till about the end of the month to fix it. They got Rice. Rice won the American last season. All of the American. They didn't even win the regular season. That's how Rice is good. Rice is good when it counts. And then Wichita State, which North Texas beat by 6 points in Kansas last month. They're at FAU next week. And then they got Temple, who, by the way, tied with North Texas last season. It was conference play. Listen, and also they got South Florida at South Florida on February the 1st. Listen, I don't want any more ties when it comes to first place. There should be no co-championships this season. If North Texas is going to win this outright, North Texas has to take care of business right now this week. Because if you don't, then then you can kiss that goodbye. Even though it's early, you have to fix the minimal mistakes. You have to fix the fourth quarter. Also, you have to figure out who's your point guard outside of Hardaway. You have to make a decision that says, hey, are we going to play a Nia Johnson or are we going to play Tamisha Lamke 28 plus minutes? And by the way, if Tamisha Lamke does not give the first team All-American, I'm going to call the American Conference and cuss them out. You can't tell me that woman is not well-deserving first team All-American in the American Conference. Without her, we are a below 500 team. Without her. And I know we're missing Kyla Deck. I get it. I get we're missing the one player. I get we're missing 3 other players. But it's no excuse. Everybody should have an upper hand on this roster and make substantial change this week. It starts now. Number 2, this is the men's side. The Mean Green men's, they beat Rice 81-59. Antoine Wright had 21 points, all in the first half. North Texas is 9-0 at home. This is the men's side. They held Rice to under 70 points for the 72nd time since 2020-21 season, since the COVID year. And then North Texas went 11 for 20 from three-point range, even though they shot less than 50% against Memphis. So they rebound. They got East Carolina next tonight. That's East Carolina tonight. So for North Texas men's, this week, they got to stay locked in. They have to stay locked in, because if you're not locked in, then everybody, it's really, honestly, if you look at the conference right now, again, it's only a few games. It's only UAB, North Texas, and Memphis that really, honestly, you could easily say they're in the top three. North Texas does not need to lose their edge. These fools, they had North Texas in the 7th, which I kind of believe it, but right now, I don't know. I barely see a weakness on this men's roster. I will only say the weakness is a game-by-game basis. I think North Texas has fixed everything that they're weak at. The interior defense, getting out to shooters, the rebounding, just the overall team environment. They fixed that. They fixed their leader scorers, because at that point in time, they didn't know who was going to lead game by game. But again, that's the game by game leader score is going to be a different player every single game. It's not going to be the same player. If it's the same player, then we know who we can trust. Number 3, TCU sweep. TCU beat Kansas 80-73. So Donor Press had 30 points and 14 rebounds. The pick and pop was working. Kansas is a small team. They're not soft. This is not Kansas men's basketball. This is Kansas women's basketball. Kansas is not that team in basketball. Foul trouble cost Connor a good game. Madison Connor had 9 points. They kept the lead and didn't let it go. So you talk about Texas. You talk about TCU taking care of business, which they did. Also, TCU beats Texas Tech 69-43. Haley Van Lith had 22 points and 7 assists. They held Tech to 23% shooting. They're queens of the Big 12. TCU 17-1. Now I question that schedule, that weak schedule after NC State, Notre Dame, and South Carolina in their non-conference schedule. I question that for a little bit, and I said, why is it that after playing all those 3 teams, you're playing against weaker opponents? But also, they got a little bit better. TCU got a little tougher after that South Carolina team, after that South Carolina game. And then they got a crucial week in UCF and Utah. So they play UCF tonight, which they beat UCF by 40 points in Florida on, if I can remember the date correctly, I think that was on December 3rd. That was December 27th. They beat UCF by 30 points. And it was embarrassing for UCF because UCF did not use any timeouts that game, and that pissed me off. And so, TCU is going to have an interesting week. Also, they play Utah on Friday. So you talk about being a college student. You talk about playing UCF tonight and then Utah on Friday, which that's a rare Friday game for the Big 12. So everything runs through TCU. I think Baylor's going to give them the best effort. I'm not going to say Baylor's weak. Baylor's strong in all aspects, areas. Ever since Kim Mulkey left for LSU, they've been a lot stronger. I think it's stronger than everywhere they go. So I'm interested in that matchup. I'm going to figure out when that match is going to be because I'm interested. I'm interested in watching that matchup, and I want to give you my instincts on that matchup. So crucial week for TCU. Number 4. Now, South Carolina. This is the women's team. How can South Carolina manage? How can they manage? Okay. You talk about losing Ashley Watkins to a season-ending torn ACL. Okay. Now, when that story came out, everybody was reposting. You know how people get. Oh, yeah, Ashley Watkins is out for the season. Ashley Watkins this. Her father came out. Gullible father. Oh, she has a knee injury. She'll be fine. I'm like, Father, please let the medical people do their job. Well, she's not fine because she's out for the season. Now, watching South Carolina play against Texas was out the interior defense. It'll be a struggle. Even though they dominated against Texas, it's going to be a struggle interior-wise for South Carolina. The perimeter defense makes up their interior game, because the interior game, you got Sanaya Fagan, you got Joyce Edwards, you got Chloe Kitts. If they get in foul trouble, you do have that depth, but also the perimeter defense will make up their interior weaknesses as well. So I'm not saying that Texas will be able to get, or any other team, LSU for that matter, or Tennessee, will be able to get inside. And by the way, I need to watch Tennessee. Tennessee has been on a roll this season, so I need to watch them. I haven't watched a single ounce of them this season. But it's going to be different without the interior of Ashley Watkins on South Carolina. Now, in order to beat South Carolina, what UCLA did on both ends is they defended everything. UCLA defended everything. Now, you can easily say UCLA can get to the Final Four. This is on the women's side. We're not talking about Mick Coleman going after his players and the assistant coach. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the UCLA women's basketball team going to the Final Four. Based on that. Now, South Carolina could be there too, but South Carolina, Dawn Staley knows her team, and I think Dawn Staley will get them there without the president was Ashley Watkins. There's no way you're coming back from a torn ACL. I've never seen that before. I never seen, maybe a sprained ankle or a bruised knee, but a torn ACL. I understand you want to be there for your team, but take care of yourself first. Now, speaking of Texas, they lose to South Carolina 67-50. Kayla Olderacre had 11 points and 16 rebounds. I think 12 of those were offensive rebounds. She's the bigger back than Taylor Jones. Now, I could easily say that Olderacre should start over Taylor Jones, but I think Vic's got it right. I think Vic's got it right. I think that Taylor should start, and then Kayla should come off the bench and actually give them a chance. Texas had no chance in this game. They were down by double digits in the first half, and then the second half got even worse. They needed Madison Booker in this game. Madison Booker only had 7 points on 3 for 18 shooting. In order for Texas to win the SEC, you got to have Madison Booker there. Madison Booker's got to get you 20-plus points a game. I mean, South Carolina can defend their asses off. They can really defend. But Texas, in order for them to win the SEC, like I said, you have to have Madison Booker there. Madison Booker has to be your go-to-go player. And honestly, when I watched that game against South Carolina, I don't think Texas did bad defensively. It's just that when you have a team that relies on their defense first to get their points off of, then you can easily say South Carolina overwhelmed Texas. But Texas didn't play bad defense, honestly. It's just that Texas didn't exploit the matchups where the foul trouble was. The foul trouble was where Chloe Kitts has some, George Edwards has some, Sanaya Fagan has some. You gotta exploit that matchup. You gotta, like I said, you're going to put South Carolina's bigs in foul trouble to the point where Dawn Staley has to go small. Dawn Staley has never had to do that because the perimeter defense is tough. Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, Tess Johnson. Who else am I missing? There's one, Manager Fawali. I can't miss her. This team is tough. This team has offense, but their defense is number one. Now I can easily tell Don Staley, Don, you need to go recruit an offensive player. No, Don Staley has it right. Don Staley can look at a player that can average 18 points in high school, or 18 to 20 points in high school, but yet can average something else in South Carolina. She's going to recruit the best, but you got to understand you got to accept this role player she's going to give you. She's going to give you a roster, but yet you're not going to average 20 points in college. I never averaged 20 points in college, even though I always dreamed of averaging 20 points in college. And Don said it perfectly. You can easily say Cooper Flagg is the best player in college basketball. He is. But is he going to score 42 points every game? No, he's not. He's going to score 20. He's going to get 15. It's easy enough for them to win. I mean, I can easily say Chloe Kitts and Tehi Papa. That's the name I miss. I can easily say that those players are going to get the South Carolina offense going. I think they already got figured out. I think in the SEC, the top teams in my eyes will be South Carolina, LSU, Texas, Tennessee, and Ole Miss. I think those are the top 5 teams in the SEC. Again, everybody's different. Vic Schaefer has the best offensive player in the country in Madison Booker. Ole Miss has that gritty, nasty defense from 1 through 15. And it's go off their coach. Their coach does not want to give up anything at all. Tennessee has a high offensive rate from 3-point range. LSU has all the all-stars. Flajay Johnson, Anisha Morrison, Michaela Williams, who by the way, who will be the best player in next year or the next year's draft. They have their team. It's tough for these matchups to happen. It's good, actually good for the SEC, because the SEC loves this type of parity. They love this. I could throw one dark and I could throw Vanderbilt in there, but then again, it's like, are we really going to throw Vanderbilt out there? I mean, Vanderbilt's not that bad, but are we going to really say Vanderbilt can be the best in the SEC? We'll see. So you got to be ready for South Carolina. Everything they do offensively relies on their defense. They got Alabama next. Even though Alabama's doing well, I can throw Alabama in the mix as well. So Alabama and Vanderbilt are my 6 or 7 teams in the SEC. Then they got OU. You can't forget about OU. OU is a good team. Again, OU makes mental errors. It's mental. It's all mental for OU. LSU on the 23rd. That's the next Thursday game. That's on ESPN. And then they got Tennessee on the 27th, which I think that is on Monday. That's a Monday game on ESPN. So South Carolina, you're going to see them twice in that week. And I love that LSU and Tennessee are getting a chance, because I want to talk about those matchups moving forward. Number 5, can Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans take accountability for his actions? So Zion was suspended for 1 game for missing the team plane. He came in late. We were all waiting for him to take the trip to Philly. They actually beat Philly to take the trip to Boston. Boston. They lose to Boston by 1 point. And Zion played that game. So probably Zion took a commercial to get to that game. Zion missed 27 games due to a hamstring game. hamstring injury. Do you realize that guys and girls, let me rephrase that. Guys and women miss only 5 games because of a hamstring injury? But this person missed 27 games due to hamstring. Dude, you are weak down there. You are weak in the legs. What makes you think you are better than these legends? It's not all the jumping, it's your habits. Your poor eating habits is the reason why you miss 27 games because of a minor injury. NFL players are playing through injuries all the time. High ankle sprains, hamstrings. You missed 27 games because of a hamstring. That is pathetic. Now people say, do we trade him? Trade him to where? He's not even trade value. If you can't play all the games at a 25-year-old man, as you call yourself, then what makes you think that I should trust you as a franchise player? Everyone was saying he's the next best thing. He's the next best LeBron. LeBron at that age played all his games. Didn't take a day off. Why is the Pelicans making Zion take a day off after losing to Minnesota? This man got an extra day off. Again, the job in the NBA to give you easy access. Zion has easy access to take a day off. Zion has, oh yeah, you want to take a day off? By all means, fine. Go sit on the bench. Go sit in street clothes. Dress appropriately. Because that's what I've seen. I seen this trend. I see it more this season than in most of the majority of seasons I've been watching the NBA. I see more guys stressed out. I see the future of the NBA dressed in street clothes that we compared to LeBron and others and Steph and others in the draft coming out. Those guys are in street clothes versus in gear. I want to see guys take the game seriously and not take advantage of our money. Zion, that contract that you have, that's somebody else's contract. That could have been my contract. That could have been the next person's contract. You're lucky to have people around you that care. But it's up to you to change your eating habits. If I'm mistaken, I think I saw you at the fast food restaurant. Again, Instagram stuff. They were making fun and jokes. But Zion does not want to take care of himself at all. Zion has 16.7 rebounds in a loss against the Celtics. Zion, you're supposed to be dominated. You missed 27 games. You're supposed to be a double machine. But you're not even there. You're taking the easy route out. The route is not supposed to be easy. It takes mountains. It takes steps to get there. And I don't know how Willie Green and the organization does it. But, again, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I could just sit here and tell you guys that the NBA is in a great place. I could lie to you, but it's not. It's not. I'm never going to ever compare a player like Zion to anybody else that I watched in past years or ever again. They didn't miss games. They played. Whether they're hurt or not, they played. And Zion has to play. Zion has to be professional because right now he's not. Zion's overrated. Until he figures out what is best for him, what's best for him is to get in shape and care about the game of basketball. Actually care. Because right now, right now you don't. You don't care about the game. You care about yourself. You want to play pity party to the fans. The players, the people that support you, you wanna throw a party for them. But I can't accept this behavior from Zion. And honestly, it's too late to correct it. And that's it for my podcast today, guys. Thank you for listening and watching my rants. Again, we have all the basketball in the world, from college basketball that we're going to dive way deep into next week because college football is ending. And then we're going to recap the divisional round, the national championship game, college basketball, the NBA, and the WNBA. Now, the WNBA free agency has started. Let's talk about the movement teams have made. And also, I want to talk about these coaches that have been hired, because I didn't get a chance to talk about these coaches that were hired at that time. So I want to take a section. I want to take a section and talk about these coaches, whether they fit in the culture or not, and give you my expert prediction about it. So we're going to talk about that next week. All right, guys, thank you for listening and watching my podcast, Beyond the Game Podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast at, and I will see y'all next week. It's Beyond the Game on Fishbowl Radio.